many of you students know who sang this song? For those who guessed right, it was the Beatles. I'll be talking about how a 5-people band from Liverpool changed into a 4-people band that became the best-selling band all around the world. I've been researching about this topic for a few weeks, but I have been a fan of this band since the middle school years. I grew up listening to this band. Whenever I'm upset or mad, it makes my day feel better if I listen to them. I'm sure all you guys have heard or even seen the Beatles before. This band has been in stores as in dolls, books, CDs, DVDs, posters, and so much more. I'm sure it's hard to get away from them, even though you don't like their music. But what they contribute to this world changed rock and roll music. Today I want to highlight for you the rising stardom of the Beatles. The first star of the rising stardom of the Beatles is the band themselves who formed a band. It all began with John Lennon experimenting with instruments in a young age in Liverpool, England. In 1957, John began the band himself and other fellows, but after he heard Paul McCartney play guitar, John had to ask Paul to be part of the band. Paul waited a day until he answered yes to John. He didn't want to take right away say yes. Both instrument players were also good songwriters, which they both became the Lennon and McCartney duo. Paul wanted to recruit new players into the band after 8 months of playing with John. George Harrison, he came into the picture after being seen as a wizard on the guitar. John wasn't sure to add George into the band because of his young age. A few weeks after George turned 15, he got accepted into the band as a lead guitarist. As John moved to a different school that he was currently going, one of his art school friends that he barely met at his new school, Stu Cliff, became a new bass guitarist for John Lennon's band. Stu became part of the band in 1960. While he was in the band, he did bring up more ideas for the band's name. As the band was practicing on the materials, they still didn't have a drummer. It became a problem for the band, but their unofficial manager, Alan Williams, auditioned more drummers. In the month of August, they hired Pete Beast as a new drummer. Pete was already playing in the band, but he dropped his last one to join this one. The band was ready to start playing more shows around the area. The first show was to play all together was in Hamburg, Germany. And then George, Pete, John, and Paul. Secondly, to rise to success, the official name, the Beatles, went through a lot of name changes before it was finalized. In the beginning, it was John and Paul that were playing their band, and they were called the Quarrymen. After a while, they changed it to Johnny and the Moondogs when George became part of the band. The 3 guitarists then all agreed to change their name again to the Nerve Twins. That name didn't work out. So Stu suggested the name to be changed to the Beatles, which is spelled with 2 E's. While he was playing in the band, they used the Beatles until they changed it to the Silver Beatles. During the month of May, they decided to change the name again to the Silver Beatles with 2 E's instead of being spelled with EA. Then again, they weren't satisfied with the name, so they changed it to the Silver Beats, then the Beatles, and then the Silver Beatles again. Finally, they stuck with the band name The Beatles. Thirdly, the Beatles starts riding higher once they found by Brian Epstein. Brian Epstein was interested in hearing the Beatles. Brian was a record store owner from Liverpool. Once he saw them at the show, he enjoyed them. He wanted the band to be released from their contract of the Burt Kemper Productions, so he could become the band's new manager, and brought them new additions for a secure record label. Brian negotiated with the production and made a deal. The deal was for the Beatles to have their last recording with the production, so they could get released. In the month of February, Brian tried to audition the band with Decca Records, but they denied him. Then as Brian was receiving a few failures, he auditioned the boys with Telephone Records. George Martin from Telephone Records signed him right away. George enjoyed the Beatles' music. The only thing he didn't like was the look of the band. George put the band in tailor suits and gave them a clean look. George wanted to also replace Pete. He thought the drummer didn't look right for the band. His shape of the eyebrows, it would raise whenever he would play. So, without giving Pete a reason for him to leave the band, he got replaced by Ringo Starr. Pete still hasn't received a real explanation of why he wasn't fit for the band. The only response he received was the lads don't want you in the group no more. And that's Brian Nesson. Brian Nesson's on the video. Lastly, the Beatles did a lot of traveling and television appearances to get high demands of fans. The Beatles traveled over the areas by Liverpool and Hamburg to build up more fans. The Beatles released a few singles from Please 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 Me album that hit on the top charts in the UK. The singles in the album stayed on the top of charts for 6 months. Those songs were also being heard in the US. The song I Want to Hold Your Hand became a huge number 1 hit in the USA. Once the US teens started finding out more about the Beatles, the teens were starting to get crazy over them. From all the popularity the Beatles was gaining from their songs and lyrics, Ed Sullivan asked the Beatles to perform at his show. It would be the Beatles' first trip to the U.S. The Ed Sullivan Show received 73 million viewers. It was the highest view in America. After appearance, the Beatles did a lot more appearances on more television shows. In conclusion, the rise of stardom wasn't easy. They went through a roller coaster with finding an official name, look, manager, and fan members, and a fan base. So I hope all you guys now understand how a simple band from Liverpool could become a huge influence in the world. Thank you.
So Perla, what did you think?
Her topic was interesting. Now I know more than I know. I really only know their name.
Oh, you can on the top?
Most of the time, she read from her page, like for her notes or paper. She was more interested in like organizing her papers, so she was like organized. She really doesn't. She really look at evidence, and she had no institution.